All night long, I heard her at the pantry door. Sometimes she jiggled the knob trying to get in. Sometimes she knocked softly or called my name in a laughing voice trying to coax me out. I tried bracing my back against the door, covering my ears with my hands, but I still heard her. Once or twice I shouted at her. I told her to go away, but I knew she never would. After a while, I began sobbing quietly to myself. It was enough to drive me mad. I knew what she wanted: revenge. She'd been waiting for it 7 years. She would never forgive me for what I'd done. Not just getting her pregnant, refusing to marry her, refusing to sacrifice my future, my whole life to take care of her and a child. Not just for shouting at her so that she stormed off crying. I think she would have forgiven me for all that if I hadn't killed her. But what else could I do? She never would have gotten an abortion. She would have had the child, used it against me, forced me to come up with child support, ruined any chance I had to be free, to be a success. I mean, deep down, Amanda was vindictive. Obviously, you can see how long she'd waited to get back at me. So I'd taken a rope, one of those stout ropes we'd used to haul the Christmas tree home from the woods. I went upstairs to her room. I pretended I wanted to make up with her, so she ran to me, put her arms around me. Then I slipped the rope around her neck and pulled it tight. It took a long time. A long time. I don't like to think about it. Finally, she lost consciousness, and I carried her down to the basement, strung her up on the heating pipe. That was kind of awful, too, because she regained consciousness for a while and struggled hanging up there before it was finally over for good. It really was a brilliant idea to hide downstairs in the basement during the game. It gave me a chance to act surprised and scream in horror when they found her. And no one would believe I would just sit down there like that in the dark for so long, knowing she was there with me. So she'd waited for me all this time, waited for her revenge, and all night long she knocked and called outside the pantry, trying to coax me out. But finally I saw the first sunlight slip in under the door. I heard her voice fade and vanish. I climbed unsteadily to my feet. I opened the door, peeked out. She was gone, thank God. I rushed outside. The snow had stopped, the sun was shining. I was delighted to see that the road and the driveway had been plowed and sanded overnight. It was easy to get back to my car, easy in the daylight to push it free from the drift where it was stuck and get back onto the road. As I was driving away from the Wilson house, a Volvo came past me in the other direction. It was Jonathan. I don't think he saw me. He didn't stop. I reached the top of a hill and looked back. I could see the house from there, and I saw the Volvo go down the drive. A moment later, 2 more cars came down the drive to join him. Jonathan got out, and then Michael got out of one of the other cars. Susan and Jennifer got out of the other. They all came together, hugging and kissing and shaking hands. I left them there to their reunion. They were welcome to it. Let them live in the past, not me. I wasn't going to waste my one and only life wallowing in remorse about Amanda. Although I wonder about that sometimes, whether this is, in fact, my one and only life. Death wasn't the end for Amanda, after all. Sometimes at night I still hear her singing somewhere in the dark, in the distance, with that wistful voice. I wait for you. I wait for you. I believe she does. I believe her time will come, but not yet.